copies, and I have one more. So, did everyone receive a copy?
No.
Of the William choosing? Okay, so it's a mystery of computering. And you received a text about Babette Feast. I will speak a little bit about that. If you are interested to watch the movie, I have the DVD. You know, I am very well encouraged to suggest you to watch that movie, because when they asked Francis, the Pope Francis, what is your best movie? He said, Babette's Feast.
Really?
Yeah. He said Babette's Feast. For him, it's the best movie. So I think it's a very, very good movie, because it is filled with possibility of an interpretation, even including the Holy Eucharist. They can use that sometimes. They use that sometimes to explain the mystery of the Holy Eucharist, the banquet. Okay. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let us continue to pray for Christians who are persecuted. Let us pray also for the success of the Synod on the family and marriage now in Rome. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and the hour of our death. Amen. Mary, seat of wisdom, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, this morning we pass from the intellective appetite. In that intellective appetite, we saw last class on choosing, willing, and choosing. It is, in fact, the will. And the will is our intellective appetite. That means, through my intellect, I discover an aspect of good in things. In that aspect of good, known by my intellect, provoke in me a will, a desire, not only a desire, but a consent, a choice to do or not to do something. Now that is the level of the intellect. But if we look at our lives, we have moved by our appetites. For example, when you go to the refectory, you are moved by your appetite, no? When you go to sleep, you move by your appetite or something. We need to sleep. And we have many appetites. We want to have pleasure, to have fun, the recreation. We want a quiet, the appetite for good news, etc. We have appetite for warm when it is cold, and when it is cold, we have appetite for another climate. So we are always tending towards something. So that is we call the appetite. Appetite, apetos last class. Peto means to ask for, to ask, add in the direction. So we are tending towards some good. But what is the difference between the intellectual appetite and the sensory appetites? It is that the object is not exactly the same. Here, the object is spiritual because we see the good in things. We abstract the idea of good in things. But here we want sensible, material, tangible object. Of course, when you go to the refectory, you will decide to continue to live. And to live, to survive, you have to eat. Well, that is the level of the intellect. But your body is not reflecting like that. That is sensory appetite. So it is, appetition is the complementary to cognition. So we know something, we desire, we want. Your cat is very quiet. Suddenly he smells an odor of mouse. So he watch and jump and run after the mouse. So cognition is preparing appetite. No appetite without cognition, without knowledge. And the word cognition means here knowledge, the act of knowing. Okay? It's the same thing. So but we have two kinds of appetite. We have some appetite which attract us, and we have some appetite we have aversion for us. For example, when you see your cat, you have an appetite to hug your cat. Oh, my little catty. But if a beautiful skunk passes in front of your house, have you the appetite to hug the skunk? No, you have an aversion, because you see in the skunk something not pleasant, no? So we have two kinds of appetite. Appetite attracting us towards something, an appetite making us to avoid some object because they are painful or because they are not convenient for us. So the two difference, and that appetite tending towards something materially good, pleasant, we call that concupiscible. That is scholastic term. If you go to Merriam-Webster, generally they don't speak about that. But they will speak about pleasure drive. Today we don't speak about concupiscence. That only theologian and theologian of the old school say that. Now we say drive. We are driven towards something. Or desiderative drive. So the three terms are equivalent. Concupiscible appetite, or pleasure drive. We are attracted by something we like. Someone attracted by Dairy Queen, other by gin, other by tequila, other by, I don't know, many things. And that drive is provoking a desire. So we have three terms: pleasure drive or desiderative drive. In fact, what is the object of that drive, of that appetite, is pleasure, something pleasant, satisfying our appetite of good. Okay? Sensory appetite, okay, so I explained that already. Second page, the distinction between cognition and appetition. Well, cognition, we saw that in the first part. It is to be informed, to receive the form of a thing. But receiving the form of a thing, what did you discover? You discover in the thing something good. And that something good in the knowledge of a thing provokes action, reaction, provokes in you a desire, a will, something attracting you toward that. So, in fact, there is no appetite if there is no knowledge. Now I work, before we continue, here about irascible. Okay, we spoke about the cat and the skunk. You are attracted by the cat, you love your cat, you take care, you go to Stop and Shop. But the skunk, no, you don't go to Stop and Shop to feed the skunk. Because you have an aversion for the skunk. You understand that? So that is irascible. Ira in Latin means anger. Anger. You are furious. Ira. Ira. I-A-R. Yeah. So that it is an aversion, but I did not continue here, in front of some unpleasant thing, some unpleasant situation, or some painful situation. So, though they go together, in fact, if we have an attraction for something, implicitly, you have an aversion for everything that impedes you from attaining that thing. No? It is the triangle. You know, 99.9% of the movie in Hollywood are based on geometry. Triangle. Very simple. One man for two women, or one woman for two men. That is the synthesis of all Hollywood movies. In fact, it is that. You know, we are if if two women want a man, there will be a fight between them. No. If two men want a woman, they will fight. That is, we call that the loving triangle in French, the triangle amoureux, the loving triangle. In fact, in that loving triangle, you have the two appetites. You have the appetite for the good you see in a person, and at the same time, you have the aversion for the one who is tending toward the same good as your enemy. No? It is the same when you, the company, they compete for, to have the market of some product. So they want to have something, success money. At the same time, they try to torpedo, to destroy the enemy. That is considerable. Aversion and attraction, they go together. One is a positive pole, the other is negative pole. That means every time you say, oh, I like that, implicitly you detest what is opposed to that. No? Look at suppose you like to sleep well. I'm tired. I study so much logic today. I need to sleep. I need to sleep. And you think, ting, 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 ting. In your sink, the water is always drop by drop. And it's funny, the more you listen to that, the bigger is the noise. So you like to sleep. You have an appetite for sleeping, but you have an aversion for the water falling in your sink. All the time it's like that. Oh, well, you want to, you are you go in a tent, you camp during the summer. You are with another seminarian. You are going to, I don't know, to Saint-Anne-de-Beaupré, Quebec, on foot for a pilgrimage, and you sleep. But your brother here is snoring. So you have appetite for sleeping, but you have aversion for snoring. Consider it. Of course, we don't explicit that, but they go together. They go together. Okay? So, I go to the next page. So, the appetite life of the animal. Now, we share with animals our sensory appetite. Why? Because we are animal. And like animal, we know things pleasant, and we desire that. So animal the same. Your cat, when you see a mouse, it does not say, today is Friday. No, I will not eat a mouse. Today is Sunday, and your horse will say, today is Sunday, I will not work. No, I don't work. No. Animal, they follow their instinct. And their instinct is expressed, if you want, through that appetite. And when you arrive with a beautiful a plate with bones, not plastic bones, but real bone, with beautiful. And your dog, what is it doing? Is waking, appetite. We are animals. What is the difference between the appetite of your dog and your appetite? In front of the same meat, you prepare chicken, but you give to your dog a beautiful piece of chicken. What is the difference? Yes, you know that you have an appetite. You are an animal, your dog does not know. He follows his appetite. So that means what we studied last week. We must have the control of our appetite. We cannot suppress them. But we can control them. For example, you can pass in front of a Dairy Queen or a Coca-Cola when you are very thirsty, and you say, no, I will, because I have no time, or because I want to, it is land, okay. So you can master that. And there is a castle in France, Cheverny. In the Loire Valley, Cheverny. And one of the characteristics of that castle, it is something very unique and most in the whole world. They have dogs, a lot of dogs for hunting. So the people arrive at noon, and they imagine like they attend to the banquet, to the meal of the dogs. We know why? Because the dog arrive, and the plates are there, filled with good meat, and every dog sat in front of on the plate, it does not move. The 15 dogs. And the master say, okay, go. After they less the table, okay, go. And they go. Normally, a dog will not do that. No, huh? You put that and why that dog? Because they are tame. Huh? They are tame, okay? But they are tamed by another, by the master. We can tame ourselves. We can dominate ourselves. So we cannot suppress our appetite, but we should control our appetite. So an attraction for the good, pleasure, huh? Pleasure. And of course, at the same time, to avoiding something unpleasant. They go together. If you have an appetite for hot coffee, then you will detest if somebody serves you a cold coffee, you know. So your appetite is for the good at the same time, not to accept them, but is opposed to that. And when you react against air, we have irascible appetite. When there is an obstacle or something difficult to accomplish, that is, we say adrenaline, your adrenaline, that is irascible appetite. Okay? And we call that also aggressive drive, because we face the obstacle. Or there is a possibility also not to face the obstacle, but when you are so attracted by the object, you face the obstacle. You know, we see that animals, they fight, they fight. Okay? So towards useful and arduous good. Suppose we see that with children. Remember, if you were 6, 7 children at home, and your mother prepares something, some cookies, what happened? Everyone wants to serve, we push the other. That is normal. It is irascible appetite. We want to fight, to make effort, or something is difficult. For example, many sports are exploring that. To climb a mountain, Everest mountain, to climb a hill, to run. And sport, in fact, they ask a lot of irascible appetite because you have to exercise, etc. So aggressive or appetite or aggressive drive. It is to face a difficult situation. It is to be able to persevere in something difficult also. To persevere in some, we need an appetite. If there is no appetite, there is no action. That is triste, it's sad. Somebody has no appetite, he will die. He will die. Why do we survive? Because we have appetite. You know, somebody is sick, and if the person lost appetite, that person at the end is condemned to death, no? Appetite, anorexia, absence of appetite. So it is useful, an appetite is useful. An appetite is not only useful, it is necessary. If you know no appetite, it's necessary for the survival and for the comfort and survival of the individual, of the person, but also for the species. Because when an animal or a man, a person, human person, satisfied, is stimulated by his appetite, not only he assures his own survival, he assures also the survival of the race, the species, especially the sexual appetite, which is very strong, very powerful. Otherwise, the animal will disappear. You know? So the difference that sexual appetite and other appetite in men are directed by the intellect, but the animal, they follow only their instinct. So it's not a difficult subject, but I think it's interesting because we have also aware that we have appetite. Some appetite for ice cream, or appetite for alcohol, appetite for drug, appetite for a beautiful car, many kind of appetite. Okay? Now, but I go to next page. So two attitudes face in front of a danger. Order, you escape, you fly, you avoid, or you face. And when you face, you have here, irascible appetite. You are furious because there is an obstacle in front of you. Okay? So I explain about, okay, next page. Everything is explained there. Okay. Next page, 49. No, but you have everything here, no? Everything is here, okay? Okay, number 9, paragraph 9, page 49. Concupiscible and irascible appetite are present in man. Don't forget, we are not angel. We are not angel. And that is important for spiritual life, because there is a kind of spirituality that want to deny appetite. And we have that about some Calvinists, some Lutheran, some kind of, not every Lutheran, some Lutheran. From Catholic, Jansenism. It was, in fact, the denying of the reality of appetite in human life. And the movie, Rabbit Fish, is exactly that. We have those people who deny their appetite, who don't want to manifest any emotion, any pleasure. You know? We are animal. Rational, but we are animal. And we have to take care of our appetite. Of course, we have to control that, but we have to know them, to discover them, because those appetites can be some power, some matter to act. For example, a musician who likes music, he has an appetite for beauty, for music. He will create a marvelous thing. You know? And not a desire, he likes beauty. You know? Because beauty is sensible. It's not only here. Beauty is sensible. So it can be, we have an appetite for beauty. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh la la. Beautiful flower. You know, it's funny, huh? We kill flower to decorate church. We kill. We say, God, we kill to offer you. We offer God dead flower. I think it should be better to offer living flower. Think about that. Let me see.
That's beautiful. No.
But they are beautiful when they are living.
Yeah.
When they are living. Well, we can discuss about that. But you know, when you speak about flower, do we speak about appetite? You want to listen to beautiful music, you speak about appetite. Because music is not in your mind first, music is in your senses. And when you have an appetite to listen to music, you put a CD and listen, oh, it's beautiful. And you forget to study logic. Okay. Okay, now I continue. Number 10. Internal tension in man between sensory appetite and intellectual appetite. Well, the problem is to be on two levels of being is not comfortable. Imagine you have one foot on one truck and the other foot on another truck. It's not very comfortable. Huh? So we have the body and we have the soul. We have our spiritual dimension, intellectual dimension, and we have our sense dimension. And we have to live with that. That is the challenge of the human person. It is easier to be totally animal or totally angel. Huh? Some sect, like the Manichaean, they deny the value of the body. Albigensis in the Middle Age. Saint Dominican know that. Saint Dominic, he was Albigensis. Well, those people of Albi in France, they come from Albi, south of France. And Saint Dominic, in fact, he created first the sister before the priest. You know that, huh? Dominican sister existed before the Dominican priest. I went there. I discovered that 10 years before he founded the Dominican, he had already Dominican sisters. So they are older than their brother priest. So their brother priest must respect their sisters. Okay. So here is a tension in us between our appetite, enlightened by our intellect, the will, and our appetite, known through our senses, sense knowledge. And that is the big, big difficulty. Someone cannot control, cannot master their appetite, so the appetite is, they are stronger than their will. So they become the slave of their appetite. The example of that, alcoholic, a drug addict, those people, gambling addicts, the gambler, they are the slave of their appetite. You know? Or you control your appetite, so you are dominating, controlling, not destroying, controlling. That means you use them, we cannot get rid of them. You know, those guys, they wanted to get rid of, like many kids, huh? What is the body, what is emotion, what is, that is evil, and only what is good, it is the idea. In fact, it is the theory of Plato. And Plato, in fact, was a member of the sect we call the Orphism. And that sect was founded by Pythagoras. So all the spiritual has value and the material has no value. You know? The spiritual is good, the material is not good. No, we are made with matter and form, with the body and soul. So our appetite are very important. So we live in a dual reality. At the same time, we are spiritual reality, like angel, immortal, able to know the truth. At the same time, we are also like a cat, like a dog. We want to eat, we have to be well, you know. It's not comfortable. But we have the bridge. The human person is the bridge between matter and between the material world and the spiritual world. It is interesting. No angel can have appetite, sense appetite. But theological parenthesis. It's interesting that God, Jesus did not say the word as an angel. He said the word as a man. And Jesus had appetite. Oh, I close parenthesis. Okay. Page 50. So, in fact, the tension between my will and my appetite, between my soul and my body, that tension is a universal phenomenon. Nobody escaped that. Nobody can say, I am only an angel. I don't take care of my body. I will not feed my body. I will not give drink to my... No, I am a spiritual reality. Poor guy, he will, in 72 hours, he will be in the cemetery. But we live together, sense appetite and intelligent appetite, but there must be a kind of order, a hierarchy. It is order. An order is an hierarchy. That means some appetite must control the other appetite. There is a different level of appetite. The first appetite for us, of course, is the tendency toward the perfect good. After that, toward the good in the things. That is the will. And after that, what is useful, what is pleasurable. In fact, pleasurable is the level of concupiscence. Useful is the level of irascible, and befitting is the level of ethics of the will. Here, that is the three categories of good. St. Thomas explained in the Summa, corresponding to the three appetites. The appetite of befitting to man. I mean, really, at the level of man, it is the befitting. We call that here. Befitting or unbefitting appetite. For example, the appetite for the truth, appetite for love, etc. Here, the concupiscible and the irascible. So the lower is the the lower appetite is the concupiscible. And the other, irascible, is the middle. Why? Is superior to the other, because irascible is an appetite able to control the concupiscible. We can have a certain domination. Okay? No. Anyway, it's not necessary for your salvation. But it is useful with further malady, because you will study that. The three levels of desire, the level of ethics, a level of ethics is it, and the two other levels, level of the good, the pleasant, the pleasure, and the level of utility. Three levels of being, of good. Okay? The good which is morally good, the good which is useful, and the good which is pleasant. That means you can have a useful good which is pleasant, but sometimes we can have a pleasant good which is not useful. For example, you drink alcohol, or 1 glass of alcohol is good for digestion or your heart. But if you take 5, it is very pleasant, it's not, you know. So not every pleasant thing is, excuse me, not every useful is pleasant, because something useful are not pleasant. That means sometimes in life we want something, suppose you are, you remember when you were young, maybe, I don't know in my time, when we were feverish, begin to not to be well, my mother used castor oil. You know castor oil? Nobody used that? Oh, you are very happy because it was horrible for us. Huh? It was unpleasant at all, but very useful. You know, to clean the system, castor oil. Huh? Okay? So you can ask to your mother. Yes, she knows that, I'm sure. But today we have other medication. But it was a castor oil. Huh? I remember that. Oh, yeah. Useful, not pleasant. And something pleasant, but not useful. Okay? I don't want to speak about cigarette. Okay. Now, if we look at our appetite, concupiscible, irascible appetite, are we the slave of them? No, because we have the will. That means we must have a control over them. That means even our sense appetite have a moral dimension. Even our sense appetite, when they are assumed by us, they have a moral dimension. I give you a simple example. You go to the refectory at noon. You eat. You like that, it's good, huh? Very good, it's pretty. Oh, you like that. Okay, that is sensory appetite. But it is only that. No, you know that is good. Before the meal, you ask the Lord to bless the meal. Huh? You thank God for the meal. And not only you absorb, but you talk with others. It is a social meeting, you know. It is a communion not only with food, a communion with others. So you put your mind, your intellect, in the sense appetite. So your sense appetite, your activities are not totally out of the control of your intellect. If you are furious, you can control that. Breathe. My brother, breathe. Okay? So we arrived to a certain control. Saint Francis de Sales, you know, Saint Francis de Sales was a very violent man, very violent. And at the end of his life, he was called the mild Monsieur de Sales. He was mild, quiet, kind, gentle. Yes, it's possible. Why? Because we are the master of our appetite. And when we don't have the mastering of our appetite, then we are addict. We are immoral. And immorality in eating, what is that? Gluttony, no? immorality in drinking alcohol, drunkenness. In fact, to drink alcohol, to drink wine is good. Jesus, what he did at Cana, he transformed water into wine. Not any kind of wine, good, the best wine. The best wine. So to drink wine is good, but to drink too much is drunkenness, you know. So that means, I insist on that because when you study ethics, in fact, we will see that the object of ethics is our emotion, it is our drives, is our appetite. The proof of that, I will prove that we have the master of that, we should have the master of that. What is the virtue? Controlling your concupiscible, your desire for pleasure. What is the virtue? Controlling that. Temperance. What is the virtue? Controlling your irascibility in front of the danger.
No.
Fortitude. Okay, good. Fortitude. What is the virtue? Sustaining your will in regard of the good.
Prudence.
Prudence is for the here. Prudence is intellective here. Prudence is enlighten your deliberation. You remember number 5, huh? Number 5 and 7. What is that? What is the virtue? Perfecting your will. Perfecting of justice. And you have the 4 cardinal virtues. All the other virtues, moral virtues, are under the 4 cardinal virtues. And it's very interesting to see how we can master our concupiscence. That is the virtue of temperance. Not destroy, control. Fortitude, control our irascibility. The virtue of justice, to give everyone his due. That is the virtue of justice. And finally, enlighten our intellect. It is the virtue of prudence. Another thing to prove that philosophy of man and ethics, they are twin sisters. They are together. You cannot study ethics without studying philosophy of man, knowing who is man. Okay, now, sometime on next page, number 12, a suppressed desire results in the building up tension in one form or another. So if pleasure is sacrificed for a higher value, then the desire is sublimated, sublimation. We studied that in chapter 10, the third part of the chapter about unconscious. We can sublime, I think, take our appetite and put that, for example, irascibility, our energy to fight other, we can use that to fight for God. Example, that Saint Ignatius of Loyola, he was a soldier, and he was a soldier. He wanted to be a soldier, but he had the vocation to be the soldier of Jesus Christ. You know, he founded the Company of Jesus. You know, we see in English, Society of Jesus. But you know what is the meaning of Society of Company? In Latin, societas or company, compania. Compania, or company, companion means the one who fight with. I fight with Pugno. So a companion is a soldier with me. And Societas of Jesus, it is the army of Jesus. We should say the army of Jesus, but we say Societas because we don't know the real meaning in Latin. Societas is not a society like Knight of Columbus. It is an army to fight. Even the knight they fight with the glasses or with flour. A knife with a sword, no? A sword. In fact, the Knight of Columbus, but they have a candle, a sword. Interesting, huh? Okay. That is the control of my irascible appetite, okay? But because we are intelligent, we are responsible of our appetite. I cannot say, oh, I killed, oh, I did that, I drank because I follow my instinct. Yes, but you should not follow your instinct. That is the problem. You should not follow. You should be the master, because if you follow your instinct, you are an animal. You lose your characteristic as a human being. Huh? And the consequence of that is the guilt, to feel guilty or remorse. Huh? It's because we are responsible for the control of our appetite. So that is enough for appetite. But you know why I put appetite with emotion? Because they go together. In fact, emotion exists because we have appetite. If you have no appetite, you have no emotion. No emotion. Suppose I pass in front of a little fruit market. No? Fruit market. I see corosal. Ooh, corosal. Why I have emotion? Because I have an appetite for that. Why I have an appetite for that? Because I know that. You know? So appetite and emotion are linked. In fact, the essence of an emotion is based on appetite. It is what we study now, chapter 10. Chapter 10. So emotion, no problem. I think nobody can say I have no emotion. So if you have no emotion, you are sick. You are very sick. And when a child has no emotion, not manifest any affection, or no joy, nothing, that disease is autism. Autism. Is the reason why it's important to, at the age of 3, to verify if a child is not reacting, is not smiling, is not expressing any feeling, he is very sick. Very sick. Because it is a part of my nature. It is in my nature to have emotion. Why? Because we are animals. It's not something horrible to say I am an animal. I am an animal. We should be proud of that. Because God gave us that privilege to be an animal, but rational, of course. Huh? Sometimes, I insist on that because, in my youth, there was a kind of spirituality. Now I think that changed. Huh? But everything was sensible, or joy, all that stuff, not good. No, Jesus never laughed. And I remember, well, the teacher in our high school, he was laughing. We were able to listen to him at half a kilometer. Huh? And someone said, the wise man does not laugh. Jesus never laughed. Jesus was serious, yes. No emotion. But if you read the gospel, Jesus had emotion. You remember in the temple, he was furious against those who were selling pigeon and making money. Huh? He was furious. Not only he was furious, but he made a whip. he passed to the action. Emotions are a part of our reality. And if we ask Socrates, what is he tells each of us, know yourself. Know yourself not only because you are intelligent, not only because you are free, know yourself because you have emotion. Emotions are very important in our life. And sometimes emotions are so important that they pass over our intellect and our will. No? And we call that passion. So we have three levels of emotion. We have emotion. Oh, we'll take it at the end. It's good for me, exercise. So we have emotion. At different levels of emotion, of course. We have first feeling. feelings is something we are aware, but we don't know the cause. You say, oh, I don't know. I don't feel well this morning. Huh? I don't feel well. And you say, why? I don't know. I don't feel well. So feeling, the difference between emotion and feeling, in emotion there is awareness. And awareness. Huh? And here, no awareness. That means feeling is something vague. We are aware, we know we have something, but I feel strange. Or I have a feeling. I have the feeling. We say, I have a feeling, but I don't know why. I don't know what. Emotion, we know what. We know why. And finally, passion. Passion, in fact, is an emotion, but with a great intensity, big, large, very strong emotion. In fact, the three are the same nature, but they are a question of degree between them. So feeling, emotion, without knowing the cause. Emotion, it is something not only we feel, but we know the cause. And finally, passion, it is a strong, very strong emotion. So it is what we are going now to study during this chapter. No? Okay? It is an integral part of our personality. It is impossible to have a human person without emotion. It is a property, because we are animal, because we are also intelligent, we have emotion. Okay? So, and not only we have emotion, we like emotion. And we pay to have emotion. How do you say the sport now? Starting from the bridge and
Bungee jumping?
bungee. I saw that in France. Whew, it was a very, very eye. Oh. And the young girl, the young boy, they jump. Emotion. Or to jump from a plane, emotion. Okay? We pay a movie, we go to a movie to cry. To horrible, horror. Now, Halloween is coming. Huh? So people, they will go to a movie and they will pay $10 to have goosebumps, you know. In some theater, they provoke, they shake the bench, and so it's more emotion, you know. It is, I will say, emotion is necessary. We cannot live without emotion. Imagine, I teach you this morning. Emotion and feeling are taken as an integral part of the human condition. Without emotion, a robot. A robot. You know, when you call a company, if you want to speak English, press 1. You want to speak Spanish, press 2. After that, it's a robot. You are frustrated. We want somebody who speaks about with emotion. No? What is theater? It is to say things with emotion. Yes.
Father, the mystery has been solved. That's my paper.
You have. Finally, you are on the planet. Now, you know, emotion now is filled with joy.
Yeah, woo!
Okay. Well, I will. No, it's interesting to see how emotions are the motor of economy. The emotions are the motor of economy. Look at the industry of radio, music, theater, entertainment, sport, Hollywood, all that is based on emotion. Even politics is based on emotion. it is a reality. Liturgy must be based on emotion. Music, color, flower, dead flower, kill flower. No, I apologize because when you will go to the chapel, you will see flower, you will see, oh, God, that they are kill flower. Okay, the sister killed the flower to offer that to God. Okay, we need also adventure. We like novels, we like poetry, we like music. Emotion are a great, great part of our life. For many people, emotion are more important than intellectual knowledge. Many, many, many. And when they advertise on television, they advertise using your emotion. They want to provoke your emotion. Okay? So it is in our nature. It is a need to have emotion. We cannot live without emotion. When you are young, we like emotion. And when we are old, yes. And not the same kind of emotions, especially when we see the calendar, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, oh, yeah, yeah. But emotion is every. Old people, they cry easily. They have emotion. They have nostalgia of the past. And the young, and they have dream. When you dream, it's a kind of emotion. Okay? And when you pray, it's not bad to have emotion. Some spiritual authors, they say, no emotion in prayer. No! Saint Ignatius said, pray with all your body. He says, have the contemplation, use your eyes to see, use your ear to listen. Don't be afraid to use. And beautiful music, beautiful flower, beautiful environment. Yes, beauty is provoking emotion. And emotion is a way to go to God. Emotion is necessary to live between. How a man and a woman can marry if they have no emotion? If my father and my mother, they will never love one another. To love, what is to love? Emotion, no? It's not only a reason. You know, marriage of reason, they don't go very far. There must be emotion, joy. Okay? I go to next paragraph, page 3. Emotion. Well, I have time to explain that. I already explained feeling, emotion, and passion. Now we go to the I do the page 5, okay? Page 5, yeah. Because everything is in. That is a copyright of Father Legault. I use that triangle. Triangle explain anything. That's interesting. Not only the Holy Trinity for St. Patrick, the shamrock. Okay, so every emotion implies 3 realities. First, there is no emotion if there is no knowledge, no cognition. That means awareness. Awareness of something good for me, or evil for me, or evil for another. For example, the mother sees a danger for her child, and she has emotion. The child has no emotion, but she has emotion for the child. Okay? So, and that awareness is at the same time in my senses, because I see, I listen, I touch, I smell, but also in my intellect. Because in my intellect, when I see something, I see the good in the thing. Or I can see the absence of good in the thing, you know? Okay? That awareness is not a constituent of emotion. Does not constitute the emotion. Because emotion is, it is on the level of appetite. But it is a condition. A condition. Not a cause, but a condition. For example, you are in your room in Cameroon, and there is a snake under your bed. You sleep very well. As long as, you know, when you are aware, oh yeah, yeah, that's different. Huh? I told that maybe to you, a sister in our mission. She was a nurse, and when she awake in the morning, she told us a serpent was around his feet in the bed, above the blanket, of course. Huh? Imagine the serpent was so happy, so because the snake searched for something warm, huh? Warm. So when she walked, and she was saw the snake. Only one thing: don't move, don't move. But she has emotion when she was awakened, when she knew the danger. As long as you don't know the danger, there is no emotion. So emotion are a condition. Excuse me, knowledge, cognition, awareness is a condition. No knowledge, no emotion. You understand now? That is the key for advertising. People, the company want you buy their soap or their product. What they try to create in you emotion, but to create emotion, they inform you. They give you information. They make you aware of the good. Oh, you see, oh, that woman, you know, her blanket is dirty, but she uses that kind of soap. You know? Look, when they interview the person says, oh, that soap is very good. No, it's very good. No, oh, very good, very powerful, the best. Emotion. Preacher! A real preacher is somebody, a teacher must provoke emotion. I say sometimes you cannot be a good teacher, you are not a comedian. Huh? You know, a comedian entertain people for 1 hour and a half, once a year. Teachers say every day. A priest give an homily, the same, we must. You know, if you give a homily like a robot, but homily, you must not only touch the mind, touch the heart. And to touch the heart, it is to provoke emotion. Emotion, okay? So now, when you see that danger, for example, the snake, it happened to me a day. I was saying my rosary. It was the first year I read in Cameroon. And suddenly, just before me, about 2 feet, the snake went out from a little pond of water, a little pool of water, you know. So I stopped. It stopped. He looked at me. I look at him. I have only, as an arm, I have only my rosary. I was not able to kill. So I was merciful. He continued. He was merciful, you know. So emotion come from when I see that, provoke in me some modification. Some modification. That is, my body is modified. It can be goosebumps. It can be I become red or become white. I am paralyzed. You know, emotion are always a somatic dimension. That is a constituent, huh? A somatic dimension. Soma, the body, huh? Somatic dimension, the body. Huh? But I wrote here, yes, transformation. Huh? You begin to talk, you cannot able to talk. No, look at your own experience in your life. When you were very frightened by a dog, for example, or by maybe a wild animal, huh? Or by bad news. You receive a call, you say, oh, you know, Joe, your cat was crushed by your car. Oh, my cat! Hmm? Immediately, your body is smiling or crying, or you cannot stop that. Except you are a specialized spy for Russia or CIA. Most of the time, we cannot hide our emotion. Because why? Because they are spontaneous. That is a characteristic, spontaneity of emotion. Of course, you can provoke. For example, if I make a joke, you laugh. Okay? But you can provoke laughing. And the other specialist, it is a therapy now, laughing therapy. Huh? People, every morning, they meet together, it's fun, 1/2 an hour, they laugh, without any reason. They laugh for laughing. Laugh, 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 laugh. But that is not a real emotion. A real emotion is spontaneous. That means you know something, and that provokes in you a reaction. But why now? Why do you have a reaction? Why? Because of what? Because you see something good or not for you. It is only because you see something good or not. Because you see something good or not, that we call that the affective response. And that is, in fact, it is sensory appetite. You react because you have sense appetite or sensory appetite. You feel immediately that is good for you or not for you. If it is totally indifferent, you have no desire at all. You know, two persons can see the same reality, the same. I suppose I go to the market with my sister or my friend, and I see a carousel. For me, it will provoke an emotion. We recall my 20 years in Cameroon, what they recall the good thing, my brother or my sister would say, what is that? Nothing. You know? It's the same for the picture. You look at the picture. The same picture can make you cry, and the same picture is totally indifferent. Why? Because you know in that picture something good or bad attached to you, and that provokes some emotion. For example, suppose you find the picture of your mother when you were a baby. You never saw that picture, or you lost it, and after 20 years you discover that picture is for you something good. Because it is something good, we call many good memories provoke in you a reaction. So, if there is no good or aspect of good or evil to avoid, there is no emotion. Why we are afraid by a snake? Suppose you go outside and you see a crocodile. You are in Florida. After the meal, you go outside, but another one is waiting for his meal. For you, Recently, a child was attacked. He was almost killed by a crocodile. He was playing on the side of the lake in Florida. The crocodile attacked. You know, so we are afraid. We are because we know a danger, and that danger known provoked in us. So the constituent are the aspect of good, sensory appetite, the motion, the motor. I showed that to you. What is the motor of our emotion? Is sensory appetite, the motor. That is the effect. The effect. The effect of emotion is somatic. But it is a characteristic. You have no emotion if you have no sensation, no somatic reaction. But the cause is here. If you have no good, no sensory appetite, you have no emotion. Okay? That can help you to understand many reality in your life. In your life. So suppose you are spiritual director and a young man, you say, you know, when I see Mrs. and I have emotion, but try to take another way. In fact, that is also the pattern of temptation. Temptation is here. Temptation is to know something good, We think it is good. It's not good, but we think it is good. And that provokes an emotion. Why? Because we have a sensory appetite. For example, our food, our sex, our domination, etc. And that provokes already a kind of feeling. A kind of feeling. We must know that. When you treat with people, we must know that. That is funny. It is fundamental in psychology. Fundamental. There is no temptation if there is no knowledge. There is no temptation if there is no appetite. And that is only the consequence of the other, the two others. It is the manifestation of emotion. Okay? Well, everything is explained here. And if you go to page 6, the emotional experience at the top must consist of a unified composite made of all three. So psychic awareness, to know. Secondly, an affective response, here, appetite, formal aspect, and material aspect, here, somatic. The somatic. The somatic is not the most important. It is the one who reveals the emotion. But it's not the cause of emotion, it's the effect of emotion. Okay? So the case of spiritual being, a being without a body could possess knowledge but cannot have emotion. Angels don't have emotion. And when we say angels sing, they cry with joy, in fact, it is anthropomorphism, analogy. They cannot. They cannot. Okay? So emotion in the middle. Number 5, very important. Emotion can be defined as a complex internal activity, internal first, consisting of an intense, opposed to feeling, spontaneous, spontaneity, and affective, attached to a value, and somatic response. That is the synthesis, but is an emotion. An emotion, you have at least the 3 components: knowledge, a sensual appetite, the desire, you see, we got affective response, affectivity is it, and the expression of that in the body, somatic response. Okay? I go to page 7. Well, number 6. Nature of sensory appetite. I already spoke about that just before. In fact, when we study emotion, we study appetite. Father Reichman here, in fact, here is coming back to what he said on chapter 9. Chapter 9, the third part is appetite, sense appetite. And now he speaks again about that here, appetite powers. So appetite powers are concupiscible and irascible. Okay? And they are controlled by 2 virtues. Concupiscible is controlled by the virtue of temperance, and irascible by the virtue of fortitude. Fortitude. Okay. So, well, you can read it. I go now to page 8, the signification of emotional experience. Well, I think one of the most important conclusion as a philosopher we can think from that phenomenology, because what I told you is phenomenology, description. It is the intimate union of body and soul. That opposed to Descartes. Because Descartes said we are only accidentally united. My union, my body and soul, for Descartes is accidental. Not here, we have to prove it is essential. We are essentially animal and rational. We are essentially body and soul. And our emotions are a part of our nature. What is nature? Remember, nature is the essence as principle of activities. So emotions are activities. And they are activities because they follow my nature as animal and rational. In fact, emotions are not purely animal. They are animal and also rational because I know. The difference with my cat, I know that I know. I know that I have emotion. Your cat doesn't know he has emotion. For example, when you eat something good, you drink something good, not only you have the emotion or the pleasure to have that, but you know that you have the pleasure. And because you know that you have a pleasure, you have the mastering, you can control that pleasure. You can say, okay, after one glass of wine is enough. Your body will say, no, 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 hey, huh? No, no, no. Your will say, no. Your body say, yes. Tension. Both are in the same. You know? So that is excessively important when you speak about the human person. The human person is a composite of body and soul. And emotion are proving that we are a composite of body and soul. I give you, imagine you have an examination. I give you A. Hey, oh, hey, look at that, I have an A. You cannot stay only A, it's impossible. We have a good news. Somebody call you, you see, you know, you won $100,000. Thank you. No, you cannot. Try. When you have a good news, you cannot stop proclaiming the good news. In fact, it is essentially what Pope Francis said about the gospel. The joy of the gospel. If you have something good, it is necessary to communicate to others, to radiate what the good. If you have something sad, then we express sadness. Oh, I have received a D minus. Oh. Okay, page 9. Emotion is a language. Important also. Emotion are a language. Emotion express your thought, your interior. Even intellectually, it's interesting. Even now, maybe less now because we are not kids, but with children it's very interesting. When they understand mathematics, they smile. Yeah. So my body express is the language of my soul. My body. It is so true that we speak through our language, we speak also through our body. The way we look at somebody, the way we react, the way we stand, all that reveal who we are. We call that body language. And body language, especially through emotion. Emotion are a body language. And we can be a liar. We can say, oh, I am very happy, in fact. Because a language expresses what you think, what you feel, what you think, what your emotion. So that is very important. You know, number 3.2, the emotional experience allows the body to share a life that is superior to it. In fact, your emotions are on the level first of body, but they come because you know. In fact, the body, through emotion, proves that the body is sharing with the intellect. There is a superior power. Because that superior power, I can now have, my emotions are not only animal emotion, they are human emotion. Human emotion. Because they are accompanied with knowledge. And they must be controlled by the will. I can control my emotion, you know, my passion. Because passion are emotion, strong emotion. And go to page 10. Where we see a primitive form of body language. You can read that by. But of course, that language of body is not sufficient. You cannot express everything, of course. Okay? And page 11, two final conclusions. First, the world of material bodies is indeed the original source of the very ideas of the mind process. You know, all what I think passes through my body. That means every knowledge I have is linked with some experience. The experience, many times, is linked with emotion. Because how we can have emotion? Because we have a sensory power. We see something pleasant, we see something not pleasant. So our ideas are linked with emotion. And that is very important because sometime in our life, what do you remember in your life? The time, the even where we have great emotion, great joy, great pain. And our ideas sometimes are acquired at the same time we have emotion. For example, someone is converted, but he has some emotion at the first confession or the baptism, marriage. People remember, I remember when I married, I cried so much I was not able to say I do. Therefore, you are not married. Okay, have a good time. I know that it is a large emotion because it's the end of the class.